board's the only in push, and we're in that kind of kill zone time where people elevate and take their skills to a whole new level in Leadership Academy. So today we're going to be digging into a little bit of rep management, rep retention. We're going to be talking about health and wellness for a little bit, and then taking it even higher for our next level group by going over one-on-one PCs from Brian Hurlman's training. So that'll be shared here in just a little bit for our next level crew, and DMs will have that to be able to look at. But I want to just kind of recognize our performers for the TLA prep that we just got off of. These are the top scores, and so I'm going to recognize anybody who got 4 or more in either the pre or the post interview for Drill for Skill. And I know some of you guys that joined remotely have done it with your own district manager, or perhaps you've yet to do it, and you'll need to schedule a follow-up time to come in and get that done for you. But we'll knock that out this prep. But I want to recognize everybody who got 4 or more in either the pre or the post during the Drill for Skill at last prep. So we had Savannah getting a 4 on the pre, Noah Fleece knocking down a 4.5 and a 5 actually with this pre and his post. So excellent job there, Noah. Anthony Hernandez, 4.5 in both his pre and his post. These are scores out of 5, by the way. If they were scores out of 10, that'd be really bad. But no, these are scores out of 5. So Anthony Hernandez, 4.5, 4.5. Jacob Neville, 4.5 on both the pre and the post. So excellent job there. William P with a 5 on the post. Then we had Alex Strout with a 4 in the post and a 4.5 on the pre. So excellent job there. We got Nick Barnes knocking down 4.5 on the pre and the post with his Drill for Skill. So excellent job there. We got Cam Lucas with a 4 in the pre. Trent Smith with a 4 in a pre. Jacob Blair with a 4 in the pre. And some of the posts were a little bit lower, and so that just probably comes with just timing and repetition. But as a reminder, you have another opportunity this Saturday to level up your rankings. And given that it's a short window and a short time frame turnaround wise, we're going to be grading on a scale of 1 to 5. It's going to be a little more lenient, but we're presenting on your ability to carry the room and to present. Okay. So things that you can do to get a better grade with the group portion of the interview are going to be things like asking direct questions to specific people, standing tall and presenting yourself professionally, being able to project your voice with good pacing and tone. We don't expect you to have the actual group interview memorized for this section, for this Drill for Skill. More so, can you effectively read it out loud is what we're looking for. And quite honestly, you don't have to have this section memorized, even as a district manager. Now, the quicker you get it memorized, the better. But you don't have to have it completely memorized in order to run an effective group interview. What you do need to do, and you do need to be able to do, is to look down and present the ideas that are listed in front of you, so that you can effectively communicate the job and the job title and the responsibilities for an applicant, right? So what we're going to be looking for in the group interview are the things that cause people to show, things that cause people not to show. The reasons people show is they understand the job and they feel like they can do it, and they want to work with the person that's recruiting them. So having the look, the professionalism, the tonality, that is things that project confidence and control. Reasons why people don't show is either a lack of control or being on the script. Okay, so if somebody's off script trying to wing a section, that's going to cause confusion. I know it's one of those things where in an attempt to try to convey the ideas that are listed there, a lot of times you want to go off script and kind of make it your own. That's where I see people either get roller coaster results, where they're getting a good show one week, a bad show the next, or they're just consistently bad. And so you're going to want to make sure that you're keeping people in control, and you're conveying the appropriate things. So if you think about what are the questions that parents are going to ask their children when they come home after going in a group interview, they're going to basically ask, so what exactly are you going to be doing? How exactly are you going to get paid? And so that market section and the pay section are two critical parts of the group interview. Another part of the group interview that's really critical is that opening section. That opening section of the group interview where you're talking about the decisions that we decided to make when we came up with a company. That part kind of lays the foundation for what they're going to be doing and how they're going to get paid. So those are parts that you really want to be more confident with: the 6 critical decisions, the market section, and the pay. So as you're going through the group interview, those are things you really want to make sure you're reviewing and hammering home. So let's be kind of looking over that a lot over the next couple of days, because we're going to do our next wave of drill for skill for that. Okay. Other big announcements. We got the Only in Push starting in about 2 weeks. So it's 2 weeks starting from tomorrow, October 24th. This is the next opportunity to step up and shine as a candidate. And you guys, got to tell you that the prizes of this have just been announced. I just got them in my inbox this afternoon. They are pretty sick. So the prize, guys, it's a 2.5 week competition. So it's October 24th all the way to November 12th. And we'll be doing the sales countdown and the competition in Olean. So we're going to be doing it at the farewell dinner that we've got with all the executive members. So this is your one push where you can step up in front of the CEO and executive team for the entire company and make a statement. And I'll just tell you guys, this is how you get your name out there on a regional scale and a corporate scale, is stepping up during this time. I know Dylan won this push last year, and that got his name on a lot of people's radar going into the summer, which propelled and it took his confidence level and preparation to a whole new level over the January program. So the prizes, though, guys, I'll go over it and I'll send this out so you'll have copies for you at the prep this Saturday. But sell 2,500 for those 2.5 weeks, and you're getting a 2K credit for the January trip, which, guys, that's huge. For those that just got back from Cancun, I'd be willing to bet that was probably one of your favorite trips you've ever been on. I know Noah had a fantastic time out there in Cancun. I know Dylan had an amazing time. Andrew Spike Daddy had a great time. You probably, if you follow Anthony Hernandez or any of the other trip winners Instagram pages, they were posting left and right. Sean was posting left and right. We had an amazing time as a division, and we had our biggest attendance ever to this. We had over 17 people in attendance. We had 20 people qualify as a division, which was our best effort yet. But our mission, guys, for January is we want to have 30 qualifiers for the January trip. And so the first step towards that is just stepping up and helping out a little bit during the Only Push. So you saw 2,500, and you're winning a 2K credit towards the January trip. So that's a big deal. 3,500. Okay, at 3,500, guys, you're winning the Ka-Bar Warthog, right? Which is people's favorite knife. People love the Warthog knife. When you see Brian Hurlman get excited and talking about the Warthog, it is pretty awesome. But it is one of the most badass knives that we make as a company, and so we'll be giving that out. It comes with the engraved logo on it and everything. So you're going to be an automatic winner of a Ka-Bar Warthog at 3,500. At 5,000, you get a 3K trip credit for January instead of a 2K credit. So, guys, that's again a big deal. Helps you qualify at higher levels, be able to go for free in January, and also to qualify by having to do less in order to sell to hit it. At 7,500, not only do you win all of the things I mentioned, right? The 3K trip credit, the Ka-Bar Warthog, you also win either a studio set or 6 steak knives. And at 10K, you win all of that and either the Beats Studio 3 headphones or a Homemaker Plus 8. So there will be prizes given away as well, but like there will be trophies handed out at the actual trip itself. The prizes are going to be a limited edition dagger And those are going to be for the top 12 personal reps that sell. They're going to get a limited edition dagger from the company as a award. Top 10 offices and top 2 divisions will be rewarded that. So that limited edition dagger happens for based on overall sales in a competition, but automatic qualifiers are $2,500. You're winning the 2K trip credit. $3,500, you're winning the Warthog. $5,000, you win the 3K January trip credit. $7,500, the State Knives studio set, and then $10,000, you're winning a Beat Studio 3 headphones or a Homemaker Plus 8 in red, by the way. So the red is a sexy color. So be good to have in your kitchen one day, especially if you get the Viking or Wolf ranges with the red knobs. Everything will match and look super fresh in your kitchen, your gourmet kitchen. That being said, we are going to level up our preparation for this. Talked to the DVM team and Scott earlier today, and we are bringing back the CSPs. I know there was a lot of great feedback from our SC2 Alliance and having our big CSP studs step up and give tips and talks at the event. And so we're going to be doing those on Wednesdays and Saturdays, I believe, to kind of launch each of the weeks of the push. So more details following with who's going to be speaking and what topics they're going to be covering. But we're going to run a special Alliance calls on Wednesday night and Saturday morning to kick off key inflection points for the push. And then we're going to be personally doing a couple of events as a division. So I'll unveil the full details of the Alliance schedule this upcoming Saturday during our management prep. But be thinking about how big can you take it for Olean. It's 2.5 weeks. So, you know, I think last year, Dylan sold, I think you were over $10,000 for the push. I know the push record for reps, by the way, is over $20,000. So that's a student push record. Noah Reeves set that push record several years ago while he was a student at Kennesaw State. So the push record for reps is definitely out there to be broken. A very doable number. And I'm excited to see every single person step up and qualify for trip credit and win a bunch of free stuff just by doing your job. So if you hadn't been stepping up over the last couple weeks, this is a great opportunity for redemption. If you have been stepping up, this is just continued excellence for you. So getting back into the rhythm, keep that momentum going, gives you an extra reason to work a little bit harder to bring the campaign forward. So
when did you say those calls were?
those are going to happen on Wednesday nights and Saturday mornings. So Wednesday night, I think they're going to be at 6 o'clock. So you know, we'll get the exact details. They're still ironing out who's going to be speaking and when, but I just wanted to get that to you because I thought it was something worth sharing. And then on Saturday morning, I believe it's at 9 a.m. So I think it's Wednesday at 6 and Saturday morning at 9 a.m. We're going to be doing that. Okay. So hot news coming towards you. On Saturday, we've got our prep from 10 to 5. And then after our prep, we're going to have our Halloween party. And we are late night going to be going to a haunted corn maze. So I know the Buford Corn Maze is kind of a tradition here in Gwinnett County. A lot of people go to. So we're going to be doing that as an organization. So Halloween party will kick off right after we get done with prep at 5 at our house at Casa de Ketchum. And then we'll hang out for a little bit, get some grub, and then go ahead to the corn maze. So that'll be a fun bonding time as a division. I know some of you guys have got games and other events that you got to be back for, so maybe you won't be able to do the corn maze. But if nothing else, at least swinging by and get some grub and having some fun networking at the house will be good. So feel free to wear costumes to the house. We will not do costume theme for the meeting this year, just because. Well, you know, unless you guys want to. Is everybody going to dress up? Because we've had people in the past that didn't dress up for this, and it really looks lame. Because we'll have some people dressed in costume, some people not dressed in costume, and it looks shitty. So if I can get 100% participation that yes, you'll be dressing up for the prep, then we will do it.
From the WhatsApp. I will.
Will people dress up? Alec, you can dress up? Can you come up with something? No, Alec is not going to dress up. You know, what about everybody else? Alec will go as a salesman if everybody else dresses up. Everybody else dressing up?
Nixon.
Yeah. Fleece, are you in? Yes, so Fleece will go as as a deputy police officer or something with that mustache. Charlie, you've already got yours. All right, so we'll bring it back. We'll continue the tradition. You can come dressed in Halloween attire, but you need to make sure it's something that you can be able to speak and stand and present in, right? Because we're gonna be doing drill for skill in it. So so we will be doing Halloween theme for this prep yet again. Excellent. All right. So I'm saying that way you don't have to change after the meeting to go to prep or to go to the Halloween party. All right. let's jump into macro management on a budget. And so I've got a document that I've shared in the past that I really like, because what it is it's meal prepping on about a $20 to $25 budget. And this is on a weekly basis, because I know a lot of times people, they say, oh, I would eat clean, but the problem is I have a hard time doing so without it being on a budget. Okay. And so I've got a very simplified version of meal prepping on a budget that you can use. And then I'll share one that a lot of people have used in the past to kind of keep their budget in that $20 to $25 a week range. Okay. So here's, some of my go-tos for meal prepping on a budget that really are effective. So the first one is using, chicken that is by the pound bag at Kroger. So right now, pack of chicken breast at Kroger, usually they sell for $1.99 a pound. So you can get, basically 5 pounds of chicken for $10, and it's the good chicken breast that is 98% fat free. Skins off of it, so you're not going to worry about. There's no bones in it, so it's boneless chicken breast. Usually, it's about 6 or 7 of these big cuts of chicken, right? And it's right there in the freezer section. But if you meal prep that at the beginning of the week, it's enough to provide at least 10 meals for you, or 10 sources of protein for your meals. Okay. So that's basically lunch and dinner for 5 days knocked out there. Okay. So that's $10 a week. Boom. Just like that. Of your meal prep is taken care of. Brown rice. You can get brown rice. There's a brand called Nishiki, which is Nishiki. And for that, you can get, Nishiki. You can order it on Amazon. You can get it, a lot of times you get it at Kroger, but it's a 5-pound bag that you can get for $11. Okay, that 5-pound bag will last you for, I don't even know how long. That'll last you for probably a month, at least 2 solid weeks. And that is a good, healthy source of carbohydrate to keep your satiated. Another one that I like doing is black beans and lentils. So black beans and lentils. Okay, these are inexpensive. You're usually going to pay about $1 to $1.50 per bag for each of those. You can get a box of high fiber oatmeal, which is going to have probably 12 servings. All right.
Does that say that on the box? High fiber on there?
Yeah, it's just the regular. Yep. You just go into the little oatmeal section of your grocery store and you look up high fiber oatmeal. And because that fiber, guys, will help keep you full, keep you regular, and keep, allow you to get the carbohydrate source that you need. Okay. Then the next one, okay, is eggs. Big believer in eggs, guys. You can get eggs for $1.49. For $1.49, you can get a whole carton of eggs, and that will feed you for a long time. Okay. My typical breakfast right now, when I'm trying to hit macros, is I'll do 3 egg whites and 1 whole egg. And then I'll do like a pack of oatmeal or steel cut oats. If you really want to be super frugal and healthy at the same time, you can buy an entire carton of steel cut oats that will last you a long time. It doesn't have a lot of flavor to it, but it's good for filling you up, and it's great for macro management. So steel cut oats, Quaker Oats makes it. And again, it's really inexpensive. Usually it's just a couple bucks for like a whole carton of it. Okay. We mentioned eggs, buying those by the carton. Other go-tos for nutrition and healthy greens are kale and spinach. You can usually get kale and spinach for about $2 to $3 for an entire bag. And a cup of that doesn't have a lot of calories in it, but it does provide a lot of other benefits to it. It's got a lot of nutrients in it that help you and get filled. Same thing with kale. And what's cool with kale is you can bake it, so it almost becomes like kale chips. You can saute it. You can, honestly, you can put a little water in it and microwave it. It kind of cooks down. You can cook it in a fry pan with your eggs if you want to give you kind of some extra crunch. But but those are all great for meal prepping. I also like using sweet potatoes as a good starch. It'll fill you up and has a low glycemic index, and that's usually for a whole thing of sweet potatoes. You can usually get, I think it's like $3 for like 6 of them, 6 sweet potatoes. If you do 1 sweet potato per meal, it's a good source of the carbs that you need. And what's cool is that a lot of times they'll come in a steamer bag, and in that steamer bag you can actually microwave it and then kind of mash it up, almost like mashed potatoes, except a much healthier version of it. I included other examples here in the WhatsApp. You can get ears of corn, which corn I'm not a huge believer in because it is a lot of sugar, but if you like corn, you could certainly use that. You can get lean ground beef for like $3 a pound, $4 a pound. That's a good nutrition source for you. I like ground turkey personally. Ground turkey is really inexpensive and has great macro contents. I'll share some of my go-to recipes and stuff in the WhatsApp later on. But my typical meals when I'm meal prepping is prepping taco bowls, which have green peppers, onions, kidney beans or red beans or black beans, and then ground turkey in it. So I'll do that frequently. I'll do lettuce cups or lettuce rolls, which has got an Asian flavor to it. And it's basically taking the same thing, some sort of ground chicken, ground turkey, ground beef, putting some water chestnuts with it, and using cups of lettuce that you just buy a whole head of iceberg lettuce, put that in there. If you just use the lettuce as almost like a tortilla, super healthy for you. And on top of that, provides that crunch that a lot of people want to have when they're eating. Other good, inexpensive things that you can add in there are bananas and apples. So I like berries, but again, those tend to be a little bit more expensive than bananas or apples, but those are good sources of nutrition for you for healthy snacks and things to eat. If you don't feel like you're getting enough of your greens, you can go out and buy on Amazon. I think it's like $15 or $18 for 30 servings of super greens, and that will kind of supplement if you're not getting all the extra vegetables and fruits and other things that you want, and that'll last you an entire month. So it breaks down to being about $4 added to your weekly budget to get a thing of the greens, protein powder, or not protein powder, but instant powder that you mix in with either almond milk, you mix it in with water. I typically just mix it in with water and chug it like a shot. But you can use that in any way, shape, or form. Other things, guys, I'm a big believer in is eliminating all the extra processed stuff, right? If you're eating it and it's whole and it's not been processed or ground up, it's going to fill you up for a lot longer. So, for example, you could eat a spoonful of peanut butter, and that's going to be done and you'll eat that with 1 spoon and be done and be totally ready for 2 or 3 or 4 more spoonfuls of peanut butter. If you were to take the equivalent in peanuts or almonds or cashews, there's no way you'd be able to eat as much because of all the time it takes you to eat it. Same thing with spinach. Same thing with Same thing with kale or any other vegetable is if you eat it whole and simply prepared, it's going to be a lot harder to eat as much, and it'll fill you up a heck of a lot quicker when eating it. So, any questions on meal prepping on a budget? So typical breakfast, guys, is eggs and oatmeal. If you don't like oatmeal, you could do grits. There's instant grits that are going to be the same source of carbohydrate for you. Typical lunch is going to be protein with some sort of legume, right? Either a bean or or you can use lentils. Lentils are great for that, by the way, because they're high in fiber and high in protein. And then a starch with like either spinach and or kale. Okay, so again, keeping it simple. The simple thing is protein and produce, right? So you're looking for protein sources and produce sources. And you can mix and match that with any type of green. You can mix and match it with any type of a vegetable that you enjoy eating. Stay away from traditional mashed potatoes. Stay away from traditional white rice, unless you're just trying to bulk. Stay away from anything that in its natural state tends to be white, right? So that's going to be your salts, your sugars, your breads, your potatoes, and your rices, right? So anything that's natural state is white tends to make you kind of fluffy. So if you're trying to lean out or shred up or gain muscle mass, there's other ways that you can get the same carbohydrates that are a healthier source for you. And then the protein is always the big one. Other simple ones and a go-to that you can use for protein are going to be canned tuna, canned chicken. Don't love that as much, but it is a way for you to get protein in a fix. So like I know for me, a lot of times if I'm in between functions at the office, I'll have a can of tuna or a can of grilled chicken that I'll just mix and put together with some sort of nutrition source, right? So right now I'm not doing a ton of carbs, so I'll mix it with a little, like a couple spoonfuls of peanuts, and then a can of tuna or a couple spoons of peanuts and a can of chicken. I will try to rinse out the tuna or the chicken if it's got high sodium content on it, which I know takes away some of the flavor, but it does provide less sodium intake for you. So, so that's if you're trying to minimize the sodium source. As far as seasonings go, guys, big believer in a couple different flavoring brands. There's one called Flavor of God, which is pretty awesome. Actually, it's or Flavor God, I think is what it's called. But they do all sodium-free seasonings, so super low salt, and they've got some pretty crazy brands or pretty crazy flavors. So they've got like cinnamon bun for people that like sweet stuff, but they don't want to have a lot of sugar or salt in their nutrition. There's the ones I like are things like taco flavored. Everything spicy is a good one. The regular everything seasoning is great. Tastes almost like an everything bagel, except without the salt. And then and you get a lot more per serving with that than you would in traditional seasoning packets, right? They're not cheap, but you get a lot more for your money with it. Right? What's that? Yeah, they're usually they're always on sale. If you go to their website, I've never seen them on their website or on Amazon where they're not on sale. But they are good. There's other versions that are more inexpensive that you can find on Amazon that are also salt free and that provide great seasoning and fill you up. Okay, so get creative with it. The biggest thing I found if you're trying to get your body efficient at processing the material and the food is to make sure that you're eating the same meals consistently. It's very boring, but what it does is your body gets very effective and efficient at processing it. I just saw an article from a guy based in, I believe, London, and he did a 30-day Big Mac challenge where for 30 straight days he ate a Big Mac as part of a kind of restricted diet. And he took his normal intake from 2,000 calories down to 1,600 calories. And every day eating a Big Mac for 30 days straight, he still lost 7 pounds. Now, it probably wasn't the best for his internal organs, and I'm sure he didn't feel great energy-wise at the end of it. But the point he was making is so long as you're meeting your macro content number, you're fine. You can enjoy other things that you really like eating. So like if you love chocolate, or you love, some sort of dessert, or you love some sort of meal that is not super healthy for you, so long as it fits within your overall macro breakdown that you're looking to shoot for, you can indulge without feeling guilty. Okay? So so again, this is designed for a very restrictive budget. This is designed to meal prep in a way where you're still hitting your macro number while not spending a lot of money. But it doesn't mean that you can't enjoy in addition to this on your own. So like if for a fact that Saturday nights you tend to go out and eat after events, or hanging out with your friends, or you're tailgating for sporting events, Saturday could be the day where you kind of just have fun and just kind of enjoy and don't stress over it. But if you're consistent with your other meals throughout the course of the week, you will really see the benefits over the course of time, right? Just to give you an idea, I think I've been tracking. I think I've lost like 10 pounds in the last 3 weeks, and that's despite being in Cancun, where I didn't really track or do a really great job of making sure I measured every little thing I had. Wasn't completely on my program that I've been doing. In addition to that, I was also at SLC, where I was being fed food from the company. So I had to kind of pick and choose from what their offerings were to stay on track. We had Caitlin's birthday during that time. We went out for a couple of nice meals. So we ate foods that we would normally not do. But despite doing all that, because I stayed consistent throughout the other days, I've been able to lose the weight that I've been looking to lose. And more importantly, have the energy that I want to have to run events, run functions, be able to go to the gym and do everything else that I normally do. So keep using MyFitnessPal as a way to track yourself throughout the course of the week. It will make life a lot easier for you. And what's cool about it is it takes all the guesswork out of it. So if you know that you're eating certain meals at the same time at certain days, it saves you a lot of time, because how much time is wasted throughout the course of your week thinking, oh, what should I do for this? Or what should I eat for this? Or waiting in line for something, or going or leaving the house, or leaving the dorm, or leaving your apartment to go pick up something, where if you just meal prepped it at the beginning of the week and just had it on hand for you, you could be able to get other stuff done during that time. So a lot of perks come from the budgeting process that we just talked about. Okay. As a reminder, we're going all the way through the month of October with our contest for that. I'm getting updates for those that are friends with me on MyFitnessPal of streaks that people are on. So that's great. And we're going to be announcing it November 1st, who wins. And we're going to order it so that they have it for them in Olean, whatever the prize is. So that's going to be, out there for everybody. Okay. I want to shift gears a little bit and talk about Social Media 2.0. And I just got off a series of videos that I created with Peter Schneider, who's our head of social media integration for our company, and excited to kind of unveil some videos to help you scale and build your networks for next summer. But I want to talk a little bit about today just kind of the generic concept of why it's so valuable. I gave a message at SLC, and we launched 81 PRs in our pilot office last summer that came through the social media process. Those individuals combined to sell over $300,000 for the Cutco this past summer. And we're going to be going over the branch pay documents and stuff for you this prep. But let's just say that was a branch office that went out and did that. The overrides from just that source alone would have been, as a branch manager, about $66,000 in overrides. So some pretty good income that was generated from that. Obviously, as a district manager, there's monthly bonuses and things on top of that you earned. So it was even more so a profit source for me. But this is one of the critical components of new office success, is having a strong social media presence. Grant Phillips is actually going to talk about this very program and what it did for him this past summer, but it catapulted him to be in one of the top 20 branches in the entire company, was using this social media program. So I'm going to talk about 5 concepts here with you real quick, and then we'll transition into a demo check workshop. So the 5 concepts that we're going to really work on over the next several months together on the social media program. Number 1 is compounding touches. So how do you layer different types of touches almost like advertising, right? How do you advertise in 3 different sources? So we're going to talk about direct messages, creating amazing posts to put on timelines and stories, and then getting people to share posts for us. Okay, and then having a staffing share as well. Okay, so that's the first element, is compounded touches. So direct messages, instant stories, and timeline posts. Having other people do the same process with us, and then having people share with us. Okay, so that's the first component, it's compounded touches. The second component of the social media program that's going to be really effective is the messaging consistency. Okay, so we're gonna help you guys once we announce territories in January. We're gonna go over how to build a big network. Okay, and create 2,000 Facebook friends that we can direct message, and 1,000 Insta friends that we can direct message. So that's going to be the game plan: is 200 messages a week during the beginning of the summer, and 100 Insta messages a week during the beginning of the summer. Okay? We're also going to talk about when to post, team photos throughout the course of the campaign. But a good rule of thumb is anytime there's a group activity, there will be some sort of post that happens on your timeline. Okay? So before you sit down and send out messages, you'll actually put up a post or a photo of your team, right? Because you think about it, anytime you get a message from somebody, one of the first things you do is click on their profile to see who they are, right? And so if they see shared examples of success, they see, current photos up there of your organization, it gives it more credibility, okay? The other topic is leveraging assistant managers, RAs, and team builders to also send the messages. And so they'll be on a concept called 55 and 5, which is assistant managers will send out 50 messages and add 50 people. They'll book 5 PRs, and they'll schedule 5 appointments. Okay, so you'll get your assistant managers on that simplified program every time they're in the office. And with them doing that, that will scale, that will help them to hit trips, and it will help build your organizations. Okay. The third part of the social media program is top school targeting. And I've already requested from the company, and we'll be able to share with you once you have territories, your best representatives from your best schools that you can name drop and use in interviews, you can use in messaging, and you can use as a name drop when you go in to set up tables and or partnerships with their schools. So that top school targeting program, we're really going to work on. Okay, and so that will be, those will be the schools that you're kind of networking into when you first get into your market, and also people you're going to be building partnerships with. Okay, the fourth one is AMs and team builders. So the concept of if somebody is an assistant manager in your organization, the expectation should be that they're hitting the trip. The expectation should be that they're going to be one of the leaders in the Team Builder Scholarship Program. That will be, one of the expectations that you have for them, and ingraining that into their DNA as a newly promoted assistant manager. In addition to that, letting them know that the assistant managers will be helping out in basically 3 ways. They'll be helping out with building a team with good kids. They'll be selling and stepping up as a great role model and example. And they'll be helping out with basic office functions. Okay, newly promoted assistant managers, they won't be running interviews. They're not going to be running training. Newly promoted assistants, they're going to be doing the basics of helping to build the organization. And then through Leadership Academy, we'll learn how to run interviews, how to train, and how to do other big group functions. Okay. So what's cool about that, guys, is you don't have to have a year of prep time to build a large staff as a new manager. In fact, we'll talk about this, but there will be branch managers that will open up in late April, early May, that by early June will have 2 and 3 assistant managers and then 2 and 3 RAs that they're working with. Okay, so they're going to have a full staff of 5 to 6 people that they're partnering with. And then the last part of the social media program is the RA program, the recruiting assistant program. And I just spent a couple hours today working on videos for how to create an attack list for this, how to send out messages for this, how to create RAs through your team, and how to interview, hire, and train these individuals. But I'm really fired up about this for all of you guys, because these will be your assistant managers as you're first starting off, right? So you'll have these individuals helping you out before you even have reps on your team, which is pretty exciting because this is a concept that a lot of managers over the last couple summers that were brand new just didn't have. This was the program that I kind of started with as a new manager. You used to go out and you used to hire receptionists. They didn't do a lot of social media recruiting for you. They just basically answered phones. Well, as we transitioned into automation of the phone systems for our other sources other than PRs, we lost the need to really have RAs. And so we didn't have them, which is totally fine. It saved us a lot of money. What we realized is that we could bring in a couple of key players to help us scale our recruiting operations early on by helping us to send messages, schedule PRs with us. And these individuals became assistant managers in a lot of our offices. I know, Savannah, this was you. A year ago, you knew about the business, obviously, but you weren't in the business. And you started off as an RA, started seeing the fat paychecks, and you're like, screw this. I want to make these paychecks. And so she started selling, sold 10K for SC2, qualified for the trip, and now is training to be a branch manager next summer. Got her letter of intent coming. So that's pretty cool. We had people in our pilot office this past summer that started off as RAs and ended up transitioning into being sales representatives, or started off as RAs but started getting into a bigger role, contributing and helping out with other functions around the office. I know Kaylee did this very thing in Grant's office last summer. So these individuals, guys, can be key players in your organization to help you be able to scale the program that we're going to be teaching you. So we're going to be teaching the messaging system and the value of it this upcoming Saturday. But just know that we're going to be talking about all 5 levers to help us have our very best recruiting mission, a recruiting platform we've ever had this summer. And what I love about this program in particular is it allows you to build with the people that you want to build with. It allows you to create the army of studs that you want, studettes that you want to build your business around. Partners with you that will help you scale this operation to the next level. And this is how a smaller office, a newer office, can compete with some of our pilot offices, some of our pillar organizations, is through scaling it with this program. This is how for the last couple summers we've had first-year managers go out and compete with 5 and 10-year veterans in our division. It's how somebody like an Andrew Evans can win a silver cup and be the number 2. Actually, I think he was the number 3 or 4 office in new business for the entire summer as a branch office. It was through getting this scaled quickly, creating an alliance of newly promoted assistant managers, and then getting a couple key RAs to play a role in team building activities. So this is how you can be a big operation starting from a one-man or one-woman show. Okay? So any questions or feedback from this, from anybody? Nada? I'm excited to share that and have Grant actually share more about how this was able to create a monster summer for him as a first year, or one summer to the next branch manager in Auburn last year. So he's going to share that with you. The next thing I want to talk about, guys, is how to do an effective demo check with a representative, because this is more about driving sales and productivity. Okay, and I want to start off by saying a lot of times a demo check happens really quickly. One way that you could do a demo check for a rep, if you had all day in the world, is you could just go on a demo with somebody, right? You could literally do reverse field training. They go do an appointment. You just sit in on them, watch them do the presentation. Problem is, you don't really have that much time to do that for every one of your representatives during your summer. You could do that during SC2. You could do it in August. They can come watch you do a demo. But everybody has 15 minutes or 20 minutes to do a quick demo check. Okay? And so what we're basically looking for in a demo check is we're looking to identify key things that new reps screw up on, okay, and help them fix it. We're looking for simple fixes that they can do to change it and immediately take their business to a whole new level. Because the truth is most reps, have the basic gist of things down, but they allow little things to kind of creep in. And I know I did this recently with Cameron here in our office, and he was just struggling, couldn't figure out why he wasn't selling sets. He was a talented guy. Obviously, he was seeing decent people, but just for whatever reason, there was a disconnect between what he was wanting to happen on the presentation and what was actually happening. And so we sit people down, and the first thing you want to do is cover with them the 4 reasons why people don't sell Cutco. Okay. So you do the demo check, but you got to make sure that the other things are kind of addressed just in general, because a lot of times the demo might be okay, but there's something else that's holding them back. So ready. So here's the 4 reasons why people don't sell Cutco. Number 1, who they're seeing. You got to see good people. No matter how talented, how great you are. I could go do a demo if somebody's homeless, unemployed, living under the bridge near Turner Field. Probably not going to be able to sell them an Ultimate set, right? Doesn't matter. But so I got to see quality people, and so we got it. And so that's the first thing. Hey, are you seeing married homeowners over 30? The answer is yes there. Boom, they're good people. A great way that you can spot check that, if you will, is just look at their presentation report, look at some of their orders that they've been selling, piece orders or other things on, and just do a Zillow check. And if it's an average house for your territory, they should be able to sell a set there. And I'm going to say average house for your territory because every territory is different, right? You say $300,000, depending on where you are, could either be a mansion or it could be a studio apartment. Just kind of depends. But, think about the average house in your territory that you'll have. And if it's an average house, a couple $100,000 or whatever, that's probably fine. And I know for me, when I grew up in Winston-Salem, North Carolina, the average house that I did appointments in was in the high 100s to mid 200s, right? So it wasn't like, I was seeing a bunch of $1 million homes when I first started. But what I loved about seeing those customers was that they were the type of people that didn't have the money to be able to eat out all the time. So they needed to cook. So they needed this stuff more often than not. And with them, I wasn't necessarily selling Ultimates and Signatures all the time. I was selling a lot of starter sets. And you're going to see how that weeds its way in when we do the demo check here. Okay. So who they're seeing is the first one. The second one, what they're saying. And it's like, hey, we're going to talk about that. We're going to check to see what you're saying today. And I'm going to go quickly through the presentation with you to make sure there's not something little that's holding you back. The third one is, do you believe? Okay. And the fourth one is, are you working? So if you don't do demos, you're not going to sell. So obviously we need to get you on appointments. You do 1 demo every 2 weeks or every 3 weeks. It's going to be hard for you to develop confidence and consistency. So if you're doing demos, you're seeing the right people, you're saying the right things, and you believe that you're going to sell, you will. So let's talk about it. Do you really believe that people buy Cutco? And I like to ask that. And more often than not, if they're the right person, they're like, yeah, I do. And it's like, okay, do you believe that people buy sets? And again, more often than not, they're like, yeah, I think so. And sometimes they're straight up. They're like, you know what? I don't think that. I can't wrap my brain around people spending that much money. Cool. And so that's where you have a healthy conversation about how much a starter set is broken up over 5 months and how much it is for that family to go out to eat. Okay. And so I just simply say, hey, if you're seeing the right type of person, married homeowner with kids, if they're a family of 4 and they go out to eat, how much are they going to spend? Yeah, they're going to spend $60, $70 to go out to eat, right? That's the same exact amount if they do that once a week as a homemaker plus 8. Now, I'm not saying they need to buy a homemaker plus 8, but I'm saying they can at least afford a set. So a starter set is anywhere between $20 and $50 out of their weekly budget, which any family of 4 could afford $20 to $50 in their weekly budget because they're already doing it all the time. Every time they grab food to pick up to take home, every time they go out to eat instead of eating at home, every time mom doesn't feel like cooking and orders Chinese or pizza to the house, they're spending the same as getting a starter set. Okay, so get that conveyed to them early on so that way the belief is there. So now when they're saying things, they're saying it with the expectation, the belief that their people are going to buy. Okay. And so it's like, all right, so now let's talk about the presentation a little bit. So when you go through this, I'm just going to have you do it just like You normally would. And I might cut you off here and there, say, okay, cool, let's go to the next page. It's not good, it's not bad. It just means that I've seen what I need to see in order to go to the next section. Okay. And so, and so with that being said, you're going to look for focuses of each page in the presentation. Okay. So when you're doing the demo check on page 2 is going to be the rapport building and connection page. What you're basically looking for right there is, are they friendly and connecting at the beginning with the strong why? Okay. And so usually after they go through the cool, so tell me about yourself, blah, blah, we're connecting a little bit. And I say, okay, do you mind if I share some of my goals with you? Well, I'm working with Cutco, because after they do that part right there, I look to see, are they confident in sharing their goals, or does it feel like they're just there to make money and leave? Are they doing this job for something bigger than just to sell knives? Okay, so look for that. Because again, there's two things are going to happen there. One, if they're presenting it in such a way where they understand, the customers realize they're not just doing this to make some money selling knives, they're going to get more recommendations. Also, by doing this for more than just to sell and make money selling knives, people will buy, because they know that they're not just presenting a product to make money. And when people don't have that radar, that defense wall up of, oh, they're just trying to make money off of me, they usually tend to be more open to what we have to say. They tend to be more interested in what we're showing, and they end up liking the product more and end up buying more. So I look for that, right? Do they have a compelling why? Are they digging into why they're doing the job? Then I'll say, cool, let's go to the next page. All right. When they go to page 2, or sorry, page 3, what I'm looking for on page 3, I'll let them just go through the company section. I'm looking for, are they proud of the company? Are they feeling confident? Are they projecting confidence and credibility? I don't usually have them cut the penny. If they are weaker or smaller, I might have them cut the penny, just to double check, just to make sure they're actually doing something with that. Because sometimes you'll be like, okay, cool, let's do this part. And they'll actually not even do it. But like, yeah, I don't cut the penny with them. Or, oh, I'll hand them the penny and have them try to cut it. And it's like, wait a minute. Before we go any further, we got to learn how to cut the penny. Because what that does psychologically for the representative is they believe more in the product now when they're cutting the penny for their customers. Okay. And also, the customers will not get excited about something for free if they haven't seen it and used it. Okay. So I'll just kind of ask, okay, cool, go ahead and cut the penny if they're little. If I know that somebody's cut the penny, or I've seen they got cut up pennies, I'm not worried as much about that. But I do want to see that credibility and confidence is there. And you'll be amazed at the little things that you see when you start the demo chat. Like, I've had people that have started to stand up and try to present to me standing in front of me the whole time. And I'll just be like, okay. So I'm looking up at them like this. I'm like, so is this how you do all your presentations? They're like, yeah. Like, okay, cool, keep going. Yeah, and I'll like stare, and it looks like my neck is starting to hurt. And I'll just be like, yeah. Be like, hey, let's try something. Let's sit and talk to me like a person instead of trying to lord over me. Right? And we'll get them to sit down beside me, or sit down in front of me. That's another thing I've seen, right? Where somebody will sit down, and instead of presenting across the table, so they're presenting to me, they're sitting next to me. And the problem with sitting right next to somebody is when you do that, you're getting real close to somebody's personal space, And the other thing is it looks kind of, it's like, it almost feels like somebody's helping a kid with their homework versus you presenting to them. It's one thing if you're sitting next to them to show deals and money and stuff like that, but the whole presentation, you want to be sitting across from them, so that way you're showing the videos, you're working on it together. And then when it comes time to maybe work out the deal or something, you could go and sit beside them and show them the math for the numbers and stuff. But I like doing it just directly face to face with them. So that way you're presenting to them. Also, again, you're not infringing on somebody's personal space. Okay. So I'm looking for kind of those things. Then you go to the next one, the video section. Okay. Here's what I'm looking for during the video section of the interview. I'm looking for the tips that we give people in training. So are they providing play-by-play? Are they getting excited while the video is playing, or are they just sitting there staring at it? I'm looking for yes questions. So are they asking yes questions? And I usually, again, just go through about the first couple of minutes with them. So I'll usually have them start the video. I'll let them go to where they do the leather cutting demonstration, and I'll kind of see if they're pausing it there. But more importantly, are they asking yes questions up until that point? Because that video section is designed to identify a need and designed to show a solution. And then the more they ask the yes questions, the more they're getting, set solutions for people. I'll also look for that as well. Are they saying the word set a lot during the presentation? So as they're handing me knives, are they saying, hey, this is the first tool in your set? It's a table knife. Our basic set comes with 8 of them. Our new set comes with 10. Our best set comes with 12. Something along those lines, right? Or they just say, hey, here's a knife, right? I'm looking for that during the video section. Okay? And then I'll usually have them skip from that part to then going to the end when it starts to present the prices. And so again, you're only spending about 2 or 3 minutes on that. And you're not stopping and correcting during the video check. Okay, I think that's another big point, because if you're stopping every time they screw something up, you're just overloading them, and they're going to be, worried about telling you what they actually do. So again, if I see somebody not saying all the yes questions, not doing all that, I'll say, okay, cool. I think I've seen what I need to see there. All right, let's jump to page 10, or jump to minute 9 when it shows the set combinations. Cool. All right, and I'll go through the entire process with them, so that way they can see it just like they normally do, because they're going to unveil a lot of stuff. And then here's where the fun part happens. So when you get to the close, okay, are they on script with the close, or are they going off script? And I've seen a lot of people, talented people that have sold a lot of Cutco, start to mess up at this point. Because what happens is they get past the presentation part, and then when they get to the close, they then start trying to throw in a bunch of extra stuff that they've maybe heard at conferences or events, and it starts to throw them off a little bit. Okay, and so by going back to the basics, a lot of times they'll actually see better results. So, so I'm looking for things like when they're presenting the pricing, or do they say, okay, here, if they're presenting bigger sets, I'll look for that. Hey, here's our 4 most popular sets. We have this little essential set. It's like a little gift set or gift for college kids. We have the basic set here, which for people that hate to cook. We have our family set, which people that really like to cook. And then we have our complete set, we love to entertain. Out of those 4 sets, which ones do you like? Do they do it that way? Or are they presenting it, hey, this is our essential set, which is a small starter set. It's $554, or you break it up over 5 months for $119. This is our homemaker set. So they start going over a bunch of numbers, right? And so I'm looking for the close. I'm looking for, is that part on program and comfortable, or are they trying to throw too much in? I'll also look, do they get the sale made on the set before asking for accessories and extra flatware options? So I've seen people do that too, where they, in an effort to try to sell a big order, they don't close on a set of knives. They then say, hey, that's the knives. Cool. Let me show you the flatware. Okay, cool. Let me show you the cookware. And so now my focus has been diverted to a bunch of different places instead of focusing on getting the sale on the homemaker one. See, this all stems way back in the day, by the way, from the way fire safety and fire alarm companies used to make sales. What they would do is they would get a commitment to something first before asking for something bigger. Okay, and the way they used to do it is they used to go around and they would get people committed to putting stickers in the windows of their kids' rooms. So that way people knew to go there first before, like if there was ever a fire, it's like, hey, we know the firefighters know what room to go to first to make sure the kids get out safely. Well, then the next wave of people would come through and they would go to the houses that had the people that had already agreed to put a sticker in the window to then go and pitch them a fire alarm system to protect their family. Or people that are already committed to putting a sticker in the window to putting a sign in the front yard talking about, hey, we support fire safety or whatever. And then the salespeople then come back through and try to close the bigger, the bigger systems and units. And they knew if somebody didn't really care about having that, then if they weren't going to put a sticker in their kids' room, they probably weren't going to be real fired up about fire safety, right? So again, it's just one of those things where if you get somebody to commit to something a little bit smaller first, they're usually willing to look at other things. So get the sale on the set first and then go bigger with the accessories. So I'm looking for that during this section. Okay. Now, when we get to the close though, okay, after they close, I never agree to buy the homemaker. I never agree to buy signature or the essential set. I always say the same thing. Okay. It's like, I really like it, but I can't afford anything. And I just stop. So, and I want to see how do they transition, from there to the starter sets, or do they not? Because I've seen that happen. A lot of times you get right there and you'll see people just kind of look at me like, I don't know what to do there. It's like, okay, so let's work on that. Okay. So I'll look at that. If they still insist on, hey, we have other options, I'll then say, okay, cool. Can I just buy like this knife then? And I'll just pick up like the trimmer. And I want to see how do they handle that. Do they say, yeah, sure, here's how much it is? Or did they say, well, we could get you that, but sets are better value. You'll get free stuff and they're safer. So if you don't mind, I'll show you all the options. And if you don't see a set you like, you can get whatever combination you want. Right. And so they use that to transition into the starter set. So I'm a big believer in, making sure that's a smooth transition from the big sets down to the starter set. And then from the starter sets down to the customized orders. And I'm just going to tell you guys, there's little things like that when you do, you're like, how does that actually help? You'll be amazed at what you see when you do that quick demo check with people. So that quick little demo check, by just having them do their presentation and then just stopping them and moving to the next. So again, if you're just to recap with the demo check, they do rapport building up to talking about their goals. Then you skip to the company history page, right? You just double check to make sure they're confident going over the company history. Are they actually using their book, or are they just trying to wing it? I've seen people do that. So we want to notice that. And then we'll go to the video section, just the first couple minutes of the video section to check, are they asking yes questions? Are they giving play-by-play? Okay. Then really watching them do the full page 5, the full closing part, and then transition down into smaller sets. And then the last thing you'll check is, all right, cool. Now go ahead and ask me for recommendations. And I always, and a lot of times they'll say, well, do you want me to do what's in the book, or do you want me to how do you want me to do it? Say, just do it exactly like you've been doing it on your presentations. You don't want them to feel bad about not following the script. You want them to do it exactly the way that they're doing it. So that way they're honest with you, so you can have a healthy discussion, because you're not trying to criticize them. What you're looking for, guys, when you're doing a demo check, is to troubleshoot and help them so that they can be, take their business to the next level. You're not criticizing, you're tweaking to help them get to where they want to be. You're curious, not critical. Okay, so you want to be curious about what they're doing so that you can find a solution for them to help them get back on track. Because people don't do this job to try to suck, right? Like, I don't know anybody that goes into demos trying to have no sales. Not that makes it very long here, right? Those are the reps that try it for like a week or whatever, and they go in there just trying to collect base pay, and they get beat up a bunch, getting a bunch of no's, and they're like, this sucks. Because nobody likes hearing no 1,000 times. So I don't think anybody's going into presentations trying to not succeed. So you're really just trying to point out the 1 or 2 subtle things that they can tweak and adjust to help get them back on the track and start selling big. And and so I wanted to hear, is there anything, Nikki or Cam, I know I've done demo checks with you guys recently and gotten immediate results. Anything that you heard or took away from that session that you felt was worth sharing, or things that made a difference for you? Cam, I'll go Cam first, and then we'll go Nikki. Okay.
Definitely in regards to you're not there to criticize. The way that you did it with me was very laid back, like a demo typically is. You try to not high pressure, and you're just like, cool, very much troubleshoot the process. It's really cool.
Cool. Yeah, so you're partnering with them, and that's the thing, is it's not you versus your rep here. That's not what we're trying to do here, guys. You're partnering with them. You're their consultant, except you're their free consultant. Consultants get paid, tens of thousands, sometimes millions of dollars to analyze somebody's business and give them advice. You're their consultant. You're there to help. You're not there to critique and to hurt, right? So you want to let them know that you're on their side, and you believe in them and want to see them be successful and kick butt. Nikki, can you hear me out there?
Yeah.
Cool. Anything? I mean, because you're probably going to be a fantastic example that I'll use for years and years in TLA, because it was such a cool story at SC2 last year. You weren't having the success you wanted, and then just started kicking everybody's ass the last 8 days or 10 days of the push or whatever.
Yeah. So I wasn't talking during the video at first, so you told me to talk, and that really helped. And like just regaining my confidence, because I literally like sucked at first, and then talked to you, and then you were very truthful with me, because you actually told me that I looked awkward and uncomfortable, when like you just need to be relaxed and just talk to them like a normal person.
Cool. And you bring up two good points there. So if they know how much you care, then they'll be willing to hear what you have to say. Like if I was just like, if I didn't show Nikki during that conversation that I really wanted her to kick ass and be successful for her own sake, then the advice and tips I would have given may have come across the wrong way. And so because there was that connection there, I was able to kind of laugh it off, be like, hey, just have fun. Let's do it this way. The other thing that you mentioned there, Nikki, that I wanted to draw attention to is building confidence. So be a good finder during the demo check of all the things that they're doing right. So point out the things they're doing well and notate that, right? So for example, if somebody's got a great personality, you gotta talk to them about that. So, it's like you're so much fun, when you're just hanging out at the office. You have such a good time. You're easy to talk to, blah, 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 blah. Whatever is true for that person, right? Hey, you're so technical, you're so intelligent, that, this should be a no-brainer for you, that you're able to hit all the big points of these focuses. But again, make it sincere and genuine, and build up all of the things that they're doing well, so that way, when you start to point out a couple of things that they need to fix, it doesn't feel like, again, you're trying to attack them. It's just they need to adjust a few things and keep doing certain things well. So it's kind of the whole start, stop, continue method. Stop doing this, start doing this, and continue doing this, right, during the presentation. Keep connecting, keep telling those stories. You did a great job, of building credibility in the company. Like all the facts you were throwing out, dude, I could tell you believe in the product, right? Or, hey, the way that you were telling those stories during the video section, and I could tell you love the product. Customers can see that. Or, hey, the way you shared your goals there, I don't think you're going to meet a single person that thinks that you're just trying to make a bunch of money selling knives, right? It's whatever is true to their thing. So as you're doing this quick demo check, you also want to be checking off things they're doing a great job on. Okay. So any other follow-ups or questions, guys, before we send you off for the day? Yeah. Real small one. Yeah. What's that? Yeah. Best advice on sharing goals is just dig in with them. Hey, so why are you doing the job? Okay, cool. What made you choose that? So today I want to get experience for my resume. Okay, cool. What do you want to do when you grow up? Okay, what made you choose that major? Or what made you decide you want to do that industry? Okay. And if it is money, it always keeps going back to money. And by the way, there is nothing wrong if that is why somebody is working and wants to make a lot of money. I wanted to stay with Cutco because I knew I wanted to make a shitload of money, and I knew I could do it here. So there's absolutely nothing wrong with it. It's not the only reason I do it, and it's not the main reason I do it, but I do want to make money, right? And so there's nothing wrong with it, but why is that money important? So if somebody is working to pay their way through school, that becomes a very compelling reason why. If somebody wants to make a lot of money because growing up they saw their mom and dad struggle to make ends meet to support them through school, that is a very compelling reason why they want to make a lot of money and support themselves when they get out of school. Again, if it's truthful and it's real, that's totally cool. If it's experience for the resume. Okay, great. What do they want to do eventually? How can this job help them? If it's, they want to graduate college debt free. Okay, why does that matter? Well, because boom, 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 right? So it's whatever is their real reason. And so just start by asking, why are you doing the job? Okay, then why is that important to you? Okay, cool. How can Cutco help you get there? Right? And so you're helping them formulate their goals a little bit. Yep. So start far and bring it back to the here and now. Long term, what do I want to do? How does this job help me get there? How specifically can this summer help me? What are my goals? And then why I'm working right now during these next couple weeks, right? So this may be good for you to formulate for your only in push goals a little bit too. Reframe it a little bit why you're working hard while you're in school these next couple weeks. It's, hey, I'm trying to earn, opportunity to run my own office next summer. By running my own office, it's going to separate my resume from all my peers. While a lot of my kids are going to be working a lot of my friends are going to be working at restaurants or working at bars or at pools or trying to get an internship on the bottom rung of some company. I'm running my own business for the summer so that when I graduate, I can be one of the top candidates in my entire graduating class, in interview and job offers. Maybe that's what you're presenting it to and why the only push matters to you. But bring it back to the here and now. Okay, so start far, bring it back to the here and now. Okay, so so that's a big one, right? And if they get a little goal sheet, just talk about their goals for school, Cutco, and lifelong. That's a great starting place to give somebody if they're struggling with that. Hey, why don't we fill this sheet out? What are your goals for school? What are your goals for lifelong? What are your goals for Cutco? Let's just list that, and then you could just talk about that when you talk about your goals with them. And then you flip over the recommendation binder and say at the end, I'll show you how you can sponsor me towards all these goals. It's an easy win for somebody who's struggling with Rex, or an easy win for somebody who's struggling to gain a real connection with their customers. So, yeah. So demo checks are fun, guys, because they have immediate results. And they improve the morale and the confidence of the representative. And I'll tell you, there's nothing that feels more fulfilling than seeing somebody who's been struggling a little bit do a demo check with you, go out and pop a set or have a big order on their next couple of appointments. It is pretty freaking awesome. It's again, it doesn't matter how much money you make at that point. It's the fact that you see them kicking ass. Man, it's awesome. Yeah.
So what was the line? You said these are my goals and towards the end of my demo. I can share how you can help me.
Oh, that's just leading for Rex, right? When you're transitioning from talking about your goals to the rest of the presentation, you just say, yeah, at the end, you just flip over your rec binder and it's got all your sponsors there. At the end, I'll show you how you can sponsor me towards all these goals, sponsorship program. And then when you go into Rex at the end, how'd you like the demo? I went too pushy, was I? How'd you like Cutco? If they had the time, could they give any reason why somebody would mind looking at Cutco, if they had the time? Okay, cool. Do you remember that sponsorship I told you about at the beginning? Great. Well, go ahead and grab out your cell phone because it's one of the very important partners. You can really help me out. I get it every time I show Cutco, and you just go into the rec approach. Yep. Cool. All right, peoples. Well, thanks for your time. I'm gonna send out the agenda. We'll see you guys on Saturday at 10 a.m. Also, let's make sure to get those letters of intent in. For those on track or want to stay on track for branching and running your own show next summer. It's getting more competitive than ever. We've got more candidates than ever. I know some of you guys still need to sign up for Olean, so make sure to do that tonight as well. Let's get that locked down so that way we can start getting your flight booked and get you all dialed in. So see you guys on Saturday. Have an awesome evening. See ya.